Hello there. I'm going to do a little VOD review for you. Just to start off, I'll let you know that I'm also in your same rank. I'm also gold tank. Not better than you. I just want to do a VOD review because I think it'll be a learning experience for both you and it'll be a learning experience for me as well. Alright, so you're starting off here on Hanamura Attack. And I'll let you know that I did watch through the video through the attack side, so I kind of just get a sense of what's going on. I do have a sense of what's going on because I did get that first watch through. This is my second watch through, and first time I'm actually watching it first person. I was watching third person the first time, just to kind of see like an omni view of everything. Now the first thing I want to notice here is that I don't understand why you're going this back way. This doesn't really make any sense. You just saw your whole team on the front exit over there, and you'll notice as you go out of here that you're not really with your team. See, they're all over there, and they're not going to have access to your shield as they come out here. You'll notice immediately they're just going to kind of take some damage. It's like you could have blocked a lot of that damage. Let's take a quick shot here. So all this he got down to almost dead. She gets down pretty low here as well, and all of that could have been prevented if you just held up your shield. So that's just an old charge you gave them for no reason. And yes, you did get here eventually, but that just doesn't make any sense as to why you wouldn't go out the same door that they went out of. That could have been a lot worse. They are playing a comp here in which it's possible Ash and Junkrat could have been positioned in a way that does a lot of damage up front right there. If you weren't there to hold your shield up, they could have actually gotten a kill or two, but they didn't, so that's convenient. Alright, so I like that you're starting to push up here. I wish your hog was kind of more with you. It looks like the fight is being taken into here now. Be careful when you go into here, because somewhere behind you is an Ana that wants to be able to heal you, and if you go in the wrong spot in this room, she's not going to be able to heal you anymore. You also got to be careful about this door to your right, and so it's very tempting to push onto this Ronhardt, but what could be better is letting your DPS do some of that job, and for you to instead just protect them and hold the space in here, rather than just being too aggressive yourself. So let's see what you do. So in this case, I think that I have to kind of pull out here to take a look. Yeah, so in this precise position, Ana is trying to find you, and she might be able to find you, but you're pretty low, and it looks like you are going to die. So this was a little bit out of position. I would have preferred if you stayed on this side of the bar here, right here, so that you could still use this natural cover and just block this rather than push all the way through. So this hog over here kind of just led you to think that it would be a good idea to push over here with him, and I don't think that was really where you wanted to be. Now they all are seizing the opportunity, and you're going to die. Pretty sure. Wow, that's amazing. You're not dead yet. Looks like you actually got out of this. So your team did respond. That is pretty incredible. Okay. I don't mind that charge. Hold on, let me get back to you here. I don't mind that charge because it landed you against the doorway. If it went outside the doorway at your current health, I would be very skeptical of that decision. Good, you got the mercy before they landed it. Very good. Let's see if your hog hits this. So the hog missed the hook on the Junkrat there, which is unfortunate because Junkrat's one of the easiest people to hook, in my opinion. Could have gotten that stagger. I like this fire strike. I wish you were further up. I don't know why your Hanzo isn't really utilizing your shield. I'm not sure why you're not standing in front of your Hanzo so that he can utilize that. So I would say there's a combination of you being out of position because really just your Ana needs to be on the payload, and a little bit of him being out of position at the same time. So that's unfortunate. So he finally comes behind you. That's good. Oh, what the hell? No. Let's go back just a second here. My bad, clicked the wrong button. I want to be able to pause. Okay, here you throw the fire strike. Hanzo's out of position. All right, now it's back to you versus Ryan. All right, so he charges into you. He charges you, and then I don't really like this charge back. Personally, I think that you need to be play back to the payload because you got to look at the position that you've just put yourself into. I mean, if you got charged, you know that means you just lost 300 HP. That's like really bad. So here he comes. He's charging you. Take a look at this, and now you need to get health. The last thing you need to do is rush into the enemy team at almost dead. So this Mori is trying to keep you alive. She wanted you to come back behind the cart here and hold your shield up right here. That's what she would have preferred you to do. And your team needs to come back and use the payload as natural cover as well. The last thing that you should be doing is charging into pretty much the entire enemy team at almost no HP, which is the result of that. So once that happens, it's a lot harder for your team to win this fight, obviously. Not dying, the art of not dying as Ronhardt is actually pretty crazy. It increases your game a lot, just taking a little bit less risks and thinking a little bit less about can I get this really cheeky play, and can I instead just survive so I can have my shield, because shield is the biggest resource that you can provide for your team as a Ronhardt. Can't provide it if you're dead, right? So your hog is really aggressive right now. I'm glad he's kind of pulling back. That's good. Okay, now you're in front of your team. I like where you are. You're in front of your team. You're guiding your team. You've got your shield up a little bit there. So you're going to pull back into the grab. That's good. He charges you. You're at half, but you're getting healed. You charge out, and I don't really understand that charge. So now you're down a couple. You need to get out. You're really low. You're probably going to die. Yeah, you got to hold your shield up. There's not much you can do at this point. I guess you come back. Oh, okay. Well, I guess he didn't swing at you, so that there Ryan could have. Well, no, he would have probably gotten slept if he stuck around there. So I see why he charged out. You're still like pretty low. I wish. Okay, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. You got both healers behind you. You got both healers behind you. You want to still hold here though. I wouldn't be pushing any past this line right here until your team just kind of gathers up a little bit more. It's still a little bit too far behind you. Once your team is like more together on this point or gets a pick, then you can push forward. You've got some ults. You can definitely use Hanzo ult here. You can use Pharah ult here. You can secure this. Let's see what happens. You go in for the Earth Shatter. You get a good shatter. Okay, you get a good shatter. Gotta watch out for this Bob though. Bob is no slouch. Looks like you're doing okay with it though. Okay, so you clear the space. It was good. Okay, let's see what goes on now. Okay, now I do remember this. One thing I didn't like about this whole thing, what you did here, is what you'll notice, is that none of your team pushed this payload on this push. Your entire team came up and wanted to fight underneath the bridge. And that's something you're going to notice here, is that the fight takes place over here and no one on your team pushes the cart. And for the next 30 seconds, you're going to fight over here and not push the cart at all. So you're literally going to waste the next 30 seconds of this game. And you only have less than 4 minutes to work with, so that's a pretty big portion of your time thrown in the garbage can. Okay, so let's see what you do. Now, first let me also say that as the payload is coming down this way here, you want to protect your team by holding this position right here, because from here you can see the enemy team coming from Main Street, and you can see him coming from the high ground. You can see him coming from over here, and if you turn just a little bit, you can actually see him coming over here. Like any angle they can come from, you can pretty much see him standing at this corner. All right, and you protect your cart as it comes up to this point. Then, as it comes up to this point over here, while it's over there where you were, you can hold right here at this choke, okay? Because you got natural cover. You can look over here. You can still see up there, at the high ground behind. You can still kind of see up there, but you rely on your team for that vision, really. And you can see what's coming from over here. You got to hold here while it comes towards you from over there. It's really important. But that is not what was done here. And it's not just your fault, it's also the rest of your team's fault. So this isn't just all you. So here you are playing up here. There's the payload, no one on it. Now, you are in the right, I think you're pretty much in the right spot. You're kind of doing the right thing, assuming that a fight right here is warranted. I just don't think that a fight right here is warranted right now because of where the card is. Even if someone was on the card, even if Anna was sitting on the cart and pulling it forward, and maybe say Anna was like right here on the cart, then where you are doesn't make any sense. You kind of just always want to be within Anna's line of sight. That's kind of one of the secrets to staying alive, is just stay in your Anna's line of sight as much as possible. And which is kind of happening here, because she does pretty much have line of sight on you right now. It's just that no one is pushing the payload, and if anyone was actually pushing the payload, I think you would be out of position. So you are creating a lot of space over here. I do not like this charge. It did get a kill, but you're still pushing really far ahead, and your team's not really with you. It worked out for you. You did. I mean, you killed a lot of people, so that's good. That was super risky, though. Here's the tower coming up. Okay. So it's like your team's starting to push the payload now. It actually was more than 30 seconds. That looks like it was 40 seconds wasted. Alright, so you're kind of just standing around doing nothing. Instead of standing around doing nothing, I would try to hold a better position. And that would be try to take the high ground. You could be up here. You could be around this corner over here, or like right here. That's a pretty cheeky spot to be. You could be over here, cheeking, like on the high ground over here, just so you can't be jumped out on. And if someone was to be in this room starting to take pot shots on you, or just like if, say, a soldier was going to be hanging out on the high ground up here, if you're standing right here, you just walk over to him and kill him and push him away or whatever. But if you're on the low ground, all you can do is throw a fire strike and hope he gets mad and runs away, which isn't going to happen. He's just going to keep shooting you. So being up here in the beginning of the fight would be a good thing to do, rather than just standing around the low ground over there. Alright, so you lost a guy over there. Really spread apart here. Your tanks are way on the other side of the map. Moria's looking to maybe try to join you. They get the res off on Junkrat, not good. Finally, Anna's kind of within line of sight of you, so she's trying to help you a little bit there. You should call back with this. Okay, he was ulting. Go back here. I want to see that one more time. Sorry. Alright, where's this hog going? You can kill this Ana, I guess. Alright, you got the Ana. They get the res on the Junkrat. Your Mori's behind you. Let's see if you just go ahead and push on the hog then. Go for that charge. Oh, I would have liked to see a charge there. But now I like it less because he's more stationary. He's not here, he's not stationary. You brought the fight back to where it should have been, which is on the payload. It sucks that you weren't already on the payload, so the act of turning around was kind of really bad. Not bad, it was just, it just was unfortunate that you kind of had to put yourself in a position like that. Okay, so after the last minute of kind of trickling, we're going to get another 6v6 fight maybe here. Looks like you're grouping up. Let's look at this from your perspective. Let's get some more of your perspective going here. Now, I guess I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking I want to go through this door here with my team. I want my team to come with me through this door. Let's see what you do. Why did it pull away from you? Hold on. Okay, so you've got your ult. You're looking to get a good ult. You see him up there. He's about to drop on you. It's a good block on his ult. You definitely just need to be swinging around here. I would be prioritizing the... Yep, I'd be prioritizing him. For all you understand that you are getting pocketed right now, but you're also purple. You get the nano boost. You get slept. I would still be pulling back. Oh, let's go back a second here. Okay, so you're swinging on the Ronhardt. One thing you notice is this yellow beam coming at him. So you notice he's getting pocketed. And I noticed this on the third person when I watched this the first time. Check this out. See this Mercy? Watch this. This is impressive. This Mercy takes a route that I think a lot of people would think is kind of insane. Alright, you see where the Mercy is? Okay, you see where the Mercy is? Right now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 red guys and 1 blue guy. The Mercy, right behind. Mercy is close enough to Hog to grab his ass. Let's see what happens. So here she is. She's flying along. See all these 4 people? Doesn't even matter. Like, she just kind of waltzes right through them. And at some point there, you would think that she'd be punished a little bit for it, but she kind of just didn't. The Hog was distracted by the other Hog. At this point, you see that you're purple, and you should maybe just, I'd say, not push in. Not push in. The really questionable decision is to go for the charge. You just don't charge when you're purple. So you get the nano. It could have gone okay. You get pinned, and from here, once you're pinned, even though you're nanoed, you're usually dead. So that's really unfortunate. She's not gonna be able to keep you alive. Now the Ana needs to pull back. She really needs to pull back a lot. Your whole team needs to pull back really, and hold this choke over here. You need to have that natural cover. Hog's being really aggressive here. Their soldiers ulting from the high ground probably, yep, kills the Moria. He gets hooked and killed. It's looking more neutral, but it's still not great. You're investing another ult. The Pharah dies. Nice sleep. Ana's dead. Moria's running back. So you don't have any healers on point right now. You're kind of just up here, pushing without really any healers. That's kind of why both the tanks died. Okay, so yeah, you didn't really have either healer in that case. Now, Moria's looking to come in. She really should be if the tank's good. Okay, so she's gonna fade back. All right, so we're down to 50 seconds. Just hope that these four reds are not gonna push in alone without their tanks, which kind of looks like is what's happening right now. McCree's going for a pretty dangerous position. Not that McCree flanking is bad, but you don't lead with a McCree flank. Lead with distraction. Okay, so you're already down 1. You're down 2. You lost both your DPS. You just have healers and tanks. Hog's going on a deep flank. Mori's almost dead. You're in the back. You could probably kill a purple Hog. Okay, okay. It looks like 4v4. You've got 2 running back. Mercy can die. Okay. Soldiers up top almost killed Moria. Moria's fine. McCree's just doing whatever the fuck he wants, apparently. Okay, I like that you're on the payload. That's good. Your tanks are protecting the Ana. That's good. You got both healers and tanks on the payload. That's good. Then you go for this charge. I'm not a fan of that charge. When you're in this position, you just kind of need to be the shield for your team. You need to hold up that shield so that your team cannot just die to anyone who accesses the high ground. If I'm up here, and you're standing on point with your shield, I can't hit your team as easy. And if I'm sitting up here on this high ground with this natural cover, I can't hit your team as easy. Now in this particular case, no one is here yet, but I mean, people are coming back. You're in the thick of the moment. You don't know. Maybe there's someone that's almost there. Let's see what happens. You get slept down here after a risky charge where you kind of overextended a little bit. And this is now several times you've overextended with the charge, in my opinion. It's a good charge. So you fell there. Both your healers are a little bit distracted, didn't really see what's happening to you, kind of trying not to die themselves. It's just unfortunate heat of the moment. Although it looks like now it's just 4v1 versus Hog on the point, so you should be able to win this. Easy. Okay. Alright, and then they pull back a little bit. Now here, it's very tempting for your team to kind of push up a little bit, because that's what I would expect them to do based on their behavior previously in the game. Good thing they kind of stayed back a little bit. I'm not a big fan of what Hog is doing right here. Like, this whole position feels really bad because the only natural cover you've got here is this tower and these large things. So you can stick around here, over here, but without Ronhardt, you've got to have this natural cover, and Hog just walked up way over here. Now, he's probably going to be fine, but, you know, against a Junkrat, sometimes you just never know. Damage kind of just sneaks up on you. It could be a mine and a nade and a fire strike and a bullet, and now you're suddenly a lot less health than you expected you're at. So I don't like how the Hog's kind of overextending a little bit there. We'll see what happens. You're back, you're on his back, you're all together. You need to be further up. So right here, I kind of think that you should be up here. Okay, so you're getting a little further up. Your Ana needs to stay on the payload. Looks like you're coming back to the payload. You're not the payload bitch, okay? Ana's the payload bitch. That needs to be established earlier on. So where you came back to push the payload, that's a mistake. Instead, I would go into comms and just make sure your Ana knows that she needs to be on the payload. Ana McCree, someone who's like long range and can be effective from being on the payload. You are not effective on the payload. Okay, so hopefully you get in front of your team here. Roadhog needs to get some assistance. Okay, he healed up. He's going into the little room. He's looking to perhaps 1v1 that Hog. You did a massive shatter. Let's see. Pretty sick play, dude. Hell yeah. So you get trapped, and you die to the Junkrat essentially because you threw a trap and had total mayhem. So it was a good play overall, though. You didn't sacrifice much by doing what you did. You killed 4 people, it looks like, or pretty much participated in 4 of those kills. You should be coming back here pretty soon. It would have been better to not die, but you know, it is what it is. You had a good play. All right, you're in the front. I like it. Now, in the end here, if I remember correctly, yes. So if you look at the ults right now, you're going to have McCree ult, and you're going to have Hog ult, and you're going to have Moria's ult. But what's going to end up happening is Moria's not actually going to have her ult in time for it to be effective. She's going to get it a little bit too late and not use it soon enough. And you'll also find that the enemy team has 4 ults. It's going to have Hog, and it already has 3 others. They're all pretty effective ults. And so this fight is really going to come down to being a last fight. 2 ults versus 4 ults. They just had a little bit more than you did. And that is why you're going to end up losing this fight. As you'll see. It's not like you could have done much more. It's that they pressed a lot of Q, and there's not much you can do about it. So here your McCree goes in for an ult, it kills the enemy Hog. Then Junkrat gets his ult, gets 2. Reses the Hog. So now it's 4-2. And here you see the Mercy ult, the Nano, the Roadhog ult. You see, now she has her Moria ult, wasn't really in time for anything. Yeah. So That's unfortunate. That's why you lost that fight there. And now, just based off of this attack strategy, this attack phase that we saw, the main things I've noticed is that sometimes you're just not on a sight line, and that could be a result of some lack of communication by you, could be lack of communication by Anna. But one way or another, like Anna wasn't really very often pressured from behind. It's not like they were flanking that much, so she should have been able to be paying attention to you most of the time, but it was just positioning. It was in the middle chamber, her being pretty far back on the payload, and you being way up in the third part of that area, like the way up front of it, and it's just she didn't have line of sight, so a couple times you died from that. One time was a pretty bad trickle death, I would say, where you and Hog entered the fight without any healers or anyone else, and they just kind of walked all over you. So one time trickled, I wouldn't hold that against you. A lot of people trickle, especially in this elo. But to have only trickled once really badly like that is not terrible. So you're pretty good about it. Then the charges. Sometimes you go in for a charge that I wouldn't say I totally agree with. It's really hard to evaluate what is a valuable charge until you can look back at it, where hindsight is 20/20. But I would generally say that if it's not going to really secure you the kill, if it's really not going to secure a kill, and it seems to be that there's like a 50-50, I don't know that I would do it. Saving charge for counter charges is a big deal. Like, that's a good thing to be able to do. And then just knowing when your team needs your shield more than they need you to charge is a big thing as well. Because sometimes when you charged, it would have been so much better to hold up your shield. You could have had your shield up. That would be so much better in that situation. But I guess that would be my main points from this. Let's see. Okay. Let's see where you go. All right, you're going on this corner. And I do like this corner. This is also where I think I would play. It gives Anna plenty of room to be able to see you and heal you up. And you got the obvious natural cover. You can see both this and the doorway to your right pretty much at all times. So that's super convenient. Altogether, I think this is a good place to hold. See how it goes. I'd be looking around a little bit more. See where your team is. Do you see your Hargis to the right side? That's fine. He's doing a little bit of flanky flank. Alright, so you see Sigma go into the right inside the room, so I imagine you're probably going to go into that room. Okay. That was I would say that was a fine charge, because your team didn't need you to be holding up a shield at that point in time, and there was a very reasonable chance that you would have actually hit someone since they were all in about a Ronhardt-sized doorway. That was a fair charge. I like it, even though it didn't actually get a secured kill. Okay, so you're a little bit too far out in this point. I don't think I'd push any further. I'd call for your team to pull back. So at this point, this is the point in this push where the payload is no longer the enemy's natural cover. It is now your natural cover, and I would definitely use it so that they can't get to the payload again. Okay, looking for a fire strike pick. Let's see it. No. Okay, so the fight's breaking out over here again. Let's see if you charge back into this. That's good. Okay. Good swings. Really big shatter. You should be able to kill all these. You're really low. Hold up your shield. Hold up shield. Good. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would look to the left there. I mean, I know there was a Winston, but you can't block the Winston. Your own safety first, right? Small misplay, but we'll forgive it. We'll forgive it this time. Let's see if you can get back to the fight before it really starts to hurt you. Okay, you're going to charge toward the car. Most of your team's over to the left, by the way. You get hit by a trap. I'd say you're pretty vulnerable. You should go back to your team here. Now you see a juicy target. You see the Mercy. You end up killing the Mercy. Okay, good. And you kill the Junkrat. That's pretty good. But in all of that, man, you got 3 kills. That is really good, except the rest of your team, I think, was just not in the same place as you. They were just doing something else. They were preoccupied by other things happening. Let's pull back a little bit further and pull out like this. Let's see, when you jumped in there, what was the rest of your teammates doing? So you lost 2. That's a pretty big deal. And then your team's getting kind of hurt even more. Now you've lost 3. So whereas you're +3 on this fight, they're also +3, and at this point actually +4. So you're the last one. You get nanoed. That was a kind of a waste of a nano because it was a nano at. She knew she was dying, so it would have been a 1v4 nano. You don't nano expecting that the person you nanoing is going to win a 1v4. It's not happening. So this is just cleaning up at this point. Let's see. Let's head back to you. Let's get back to point here. How bad is this going to look? So you're down your Ana. I would block so your tactile visor can get most value. Hog can hold point. But you jump down. See if your soldier hopefully lives through that. It's mostly neutral right now. I want to pull back a little bit there. I was paying attention mostly to the kill feed and not really you. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, you basically just have to hit the Sigma there. There's not much else you could have done. I mean, you're basically just contesting point. There is a world where maybe you just block your soldier on the high ground there, but I mean, who knows? They had a lot of momentum going into that. So here they've got 2 picks now. You're down to 4. You're down to 3. You should really pull back. Try to get back with your team. Your Moira should not be going up there. That's insane. I like where your soldier is. He's all right. Your Moira's come back to you. That's good. That's a positive thing. Good fire strike. I like where you're holding. This is fine. I would maybe be more holding up your shield. Okay. I like that you're not being too aggressive there, because with the enemy team coming around and the way you've been a little bit in the attack phase, I almost would have expected you to charge there, and you didn't. So I think that's good. That was good willpower. So you hear the Junkrat ult going off. That kind of spells death. So I guess you're looking around for that and hoping it's not hitting you, but also watching for what it does hit, because that's really important. It does hit your Ana. So as soon as it hits your Ana, I would be giving him a little bit more space. Now I know you've got the Moira with you right now, but I would still pull back to the high ground here, because what you're facing down is this guy who's got his Brig. Wow, yeah. So you're facing down a Brig and an Ashe. I don't think I would fight a Brig and an Ashe. I just don't. That doesn't sound like something I'd want to do. I'd pull back to the high ground here. And you are kind of pulling back. You are kind of pulling back a little bit. So they're starting to take the high ground. I would just give them a little bit more space. They're kind of just out positioning you at the moment. You need to get your group together. Your warrior needs to come further back. Your warrior needs to take the high ground. Go for the charge. Okay, it's a missed charge. Can you kill Mercy? Let's see. You got the pick on the Mercy. You're gonna fight this guy down here. Can you kill him? Let's see. It's pretty outnumbered against him. It looks like he got antied, but somehow got away. Alright. At this point, with the enemy sort of returning, let's go back a bit here just so you can see. The enemy starting to regroup themselves. We'll see this in a second. Okay, fight monkey a little bit. You come out here. Alright. With the enemy team returning, you see all the enemy team's right here. I would be holding up your shield for this moment. And what you do, what you tend to do here, okay, what you found yourself doing, is swinging and turning around, standing in the enemy Winston barrier. This is not a comfortable situation. They're not capitalizing on it as much as I thought they were, or thought they would. Okay, maybe you can kill the soldier. Or sorry, that's in your team. My bad, colors. Okay, I would take the high ground. Hold barrier, good. Got barrier. You don't need to. This is questionable. Okay, pulling back, right? Okay. Your McCree's down. Wind's taking high ground. Hold your barrier up a little bit here. I got Sigma's just kind of firing right through. You're kind of just swinging your hammer at the front of the truck a little bit, not really hitting anyone. So now you're hitting people. Good, good, good. Looks like this fight is going in your favor. You'd watch this brig. You should be able to push on them now. This is really getting dragged out. You got shatter. Maybe you can block this bob and then do a big shatter. You're really low. Okay. I a lot of times take a lot of issue with firing off a shatter when you're low, because shattering when you're at 20 HP, you know, you can't hold up your shield while shattering, so you're going to open yourself up to damage. It's very easy to deal 20 damage. Almost anyone can do it pretty much instantly. So I'm not a big fan of shattering at low HP. I would have just maybe looked for another opportunity or got a little bit more health before you did it. Okay, so you're gonna drop down. You're gonna start swinging a point. You're gonna create some space. And yeah, there's not much else you could have done there. They've already won the fight, so yeah, not much else you could have done. All right. What is going on over here? What is Moria doing? What actually is Moria doing? Cool. Okay, soldier's in a good spot. You're in a good spot. This is fine. You're swinging at nothing. Okay, now you're holding up your shield, although no one's really using it. You're kind of just waiting. I wouldn't be holding up your shield. I'd just be holding behind this natural cover. Peek a little bit. Pull your shield up here, here and there a little bit, but you just, yeah, mainly just be recharging it. All right, now you can swing into this guy. You're inside line of sight of the Ana, so you're fine. Careful in this room. Don't go too deep in the back of it. Okay, you should be fine here. You need to gather a little bit of health. You're looking kind of dirty. There you go. Okay, and your Hog's pretty much cleaning this up, so that's good. I like the switch to Doomfist. I feel like Doomfist is pretty good on this point. Your team is way too far up. I would be telling them to pull back in voice comms. I don't hear your voice comms. Maybe that is what you are saying, so I don't really know. Yeah, your Hog's pretty much a sitting duck. That was way too overextending. Your Moria's overextending. This could be spell death for your Moria. This is way too aggressive. She is just being an attack Moria on that ult. That she's not using it like retroactively. Not retro, I'm sorry, she's not using it reactively, she was just kind of using it to kill people, and as a result it's gone bad. Now your Ana's down, you need to pull back, which is what you're doing. You need to keep pulling back. You definitely don't charge into this. You need to wait for your Ana to get back up. I'd be pulling back a little bit to natural cover. You're kind of just in the middle. You're wide in the middle, and I think, yeah, you need to stay on the white. Oh, okay. So they broke your shield right at the end there, and it kind of got over it, unfortunately. It was a good timing on breaking your shield. Okay, your Hog's down. Your Moira is just kind of being damaged Moira. Doomfist is not going to be able to hold this. Okay, so he's down. You go in for the charge. At this point, I mean, it's just like, yeah. At that point, it wasn't great. So as far as what could have been done better, I'm not saying it would have gotten you the victory, but it was around this time that your Ana died, I believe, if I do remember correctly. Let's go back just a little bit further to confirm that. Okay, I'm keeping on you and your Ana. Since your Moira is very aggressive, blowing your ult like that kind of overextended. You really need to rely on your Ana mainly. In this case for heals, your Ana was dived on, and you were trying to protect her. So at that point, I would pull back. I say pull back behind the castle. You don't need to put yourself this far forward. So by walking up this far forward, you've required then that you now walk all the way back without an Ana. So at that point, when you were back here and saw your Ana die, you saw the Winston leap forward, I wouldn't have walked back in this direction. I'm not saying that would have won the game, all right? But as just a better play would have been to go around and take this natural cover, or go around and take the natural cover over on this side over here. By pushing up, you have put yourself further and further out of position towards danger because you don't have the Ana. Now, really the Moira should be trying to basically just keep you alive with her piss, mainly just like holding it onto you as you rush backwards as quickly as possible. You have to regroup on your Ana. Your Ana should be like way back here, kind of right next to this wall, right next to the stair for natural cover, or be over here on this side, utilizing this wall. This isn't really much natural cover, honestly. I'd be using this high ground, and then maybe even come around here if she can afford the time to get here for natural cover. It shouldn't be on the ground with you, I don't think. But now watch what happens. Since you went so far forward, now you have to take the time it takes to come back. By this point, you're already half. Your Moira faded out. So now she's going to try to heal you, supposedly. Yeah, she tries to heal you. She's trying to keep you float. You're back up to full. You take another push back out. Again, at this point, I don't believe you have your Ana. That's a soldier. Where's Ana? Ana's still running back. So this is really aggressive. You still don't have your Ana. Doomfist doesn't look super healthy right now. He's down. Now you're at half, and you're in a position that I think is overextended, because you have to suffer slow movement speed as you hold your shield up. You need to come back to this natural cover right here, or to this natural cover right here, and wait for your team to come back. You just can't stand in the choke that far up. You can't go past the choke point. You don't have that on it. You're on fire now, in a bad way. And in this case, right, you walked all the way back to here in the wide open. That position right here doesn't really have access to natural cover, which is kind of why you're kind of a sitting duck to this this junk ult. Now this junk ult would have probably been fatal no matter what. It would have been nice if this Hog was able to actually click it. It looks like he pretty much got close, but no cigar. So that was an unfortunate death there. Ana just got back. Okay, and now from this point, we do have 4 on point versus their, looks like 5 on point. And then just taking a look at the current ultimate situation is you've got Shatter, they've got nothing, and you've got nothing else on point at least. I don't like where Rusty went. Okay, Rusty, your Anna. She went all the way up to here. It doesn't make sense to me why she wouldn't have just held that position back there. Just been a little bit further back. Because watch what happens here. You saw, I believe it was Junk. It was Junk that just hit her like really hard. He just basically targeted her down. So Junk just got both of those kills. And the Mine was able to kill both the Hog and the Anna. Rightfully, I can see how he would have just killed the Hog, but the Anna should have been back here, where that Mine and that frag wouldn't have just easily gotten her. That was overextension by Anna a little bit there. And you have Moira way up on point trying to kill a Winston. I wonder how that's going to go for her. We have Doomfist coming up from the top, pretty much doing whatever he kind of just has to do. It's not Doomfist's game to win or lose at this point. He's just doing his thing. He's doing what Doomfist would do no matter what. It's not really up to him whether he wins. It's up to your healers and everyone else. So Moira obviously died because she overextended. This is what Doomfist should be doing anyway. He's a punch in him. He's doing everything he can do. So, and then here's you. You would not be finding yourself at this latest hour charging into point. If there was some way to have saved you from before, which I think there could have been a way to just pull back, regroup a little bit. So that's about all I got on it. I hope that was educational for you. I think it was definitely educational for me. I enjoyed making the video. Thank you.